Wow. Wow. That's as much of a fart that I could do in probably half a week. How can you hold that much in? Wow. Wow, babe, I'm proud of you. You are the man. Right here, babe. I'm not going. Oh
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm Biddy, your host, back with Valley today. I'm here to bring you some news and a happy Wednesday, happy hump day to you guys. We got some news as always. We got Columbia frees a student activist. We got a judge ruling that another Columbia graduate can challenge detention. We have a Ukraine deal to talk about that just happened today, a robot race, and a seagull competition. So, and of course, just stick around for our Caption This at the end of the show. You could follow the show on X at @therealRoma_AK and on Rumble at Roma Nation, all one word. You can follow me on X at Elizabitty213A. What's up, Valley? Welcome back. Great to have you.
Hey, it's the
You
two
get
of
your
us.
leopard.
I know. We have like the same fashion, I feel like.
We
but
do.
like the one Casey Anthony, I think it was Casey Anthony where we did an episode and
Yep.
you were wearing cheetah and I was like about to put it on and I was like, oh, that would have been way too much. Like we would have been ridiculed for sure. But yeah, so it's your OGs today. Good to be here. I am that Valley girl, your common sense advocate. Today, we, like Biddy said, have a wide range of topics to go over, along with some palate cleansers as well. But I did want to hop into the first story, the main story of today, which is going to be essentially from Politico. If you were able to bring that up, you already did. Perfect. So the judge frees Columbia student activist whom Trump administration wants to deport. Now, this was a very controversial story. Politico is reporting this out of Vermont, but a federal judge on Wednesday, so today, ordered the immediate release of a Columbia University student who was detained by immigration authorities and targeted for deportation over his involvement of pro-Palestinian protests. So Mohsen Madawi was arrested as part of a crackdown on foreign students who were legally studying in the United States. Still trying to quite figure out the logistics of that, but the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has invoked a rarely used provision of immigration law to target some of the students for deportation by declaring that their continued presence in the country harms America's foreign interest policies. He was detained April 14th when he actually showed up to an immigration office in Vermont for a naturalization interview. So I guess essentially that is like how he wanted to apply for U.S. citizenship. He grew up in a refugee camp like in the West Bank. So obviously this is like a hot topic between, Gaza and Israel. And he was like very vocal about this movement on Columbia's campus. He was like detained among, the Trump administration's border crackdown on the movement in solidarity with Palestine, and was the second Palestinian Columbia student to be arrested following Mohammed Khalil's arrest on March 8th. So we're going to kind of talk about how that all intertwines in a bit. But yeah, I mean, he got released. So, this is controversial, especially among some figures, even on the right, especially Candace Owens has taken a step against this, saying that it goes against the First Amendment, right, which is to be able to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, right. And that he was peacefully protesting. So, it looks like
it's a little hairy. Yeah.
I mean, other pro-Palestinian students, professors have been arrested along these two prominent individuals that are in the media. And Madawi has argued that the administration is violating, again, the First Amendment by targeting him for criticizing Israel and participating in campus protests. So, we see this a lot on social media. You and I are both on X. I've seen it on, other social medias like TikToks as well, that tend to be more left-leaning. And you can say how you feel and criticize the war and essentially say that that's free speech and not get your account taken down. But then you have someone like Madawi who is not able to do that. Now, again, where this gets hairy, like you said, is, does he have connections to Hamas, considering he grew up in the West Bank? I know that was kind of controversial as well. And,
there was a lot of violence during the protest too.
Right. And there was a lot of violence during the protest. And it looks like
I know
to be the first student that's been ordered from detention, that's a part of this movement.
Right.
But all of them have carefully been looked over and deemed by Rubio to be adverse to U.S. foreign policy interests.
Right. And that goes back to his Immigration Nationality Act that he's invoking, that gives him the power to do that, to deem what's going on there. Yeah. I was looking into it too, because there was there's so much that goes on throughout time, that the news moves so fast, everything comes at you, you forget things that happen when they happen. So I was looking up stuff that went down last year, and in the Columbia protests, they broke windows, the protesters, to get into Hamilton Hall and barricaded themselves in there. So there are laws that protect you for free speech, there are laws that protect you for protesting, but then there's also things like if the police are there and they're telling you kind of to chill out, or you need to move, or you can't, block these entrances, or you can't, also refuse access to people, block entrances for, some Israeli students and things like that were going down, and you don't listen, that's something that turns it into something else. And I think that's what they're trying to cite went down with some of these activists. And it's kind of like when you're here on a student visa or a green card, you're kind of on probation. So you don't, you do get the rights, but it's also you should be on good behavior as well. So if something like that goes down, then your visas and other ways that you're able to stay in this country can be subject for revocation. So I know he was here since 2014. So I saw a lot of people saying that he was in school for over a decade and with no degrees. But when I was looking into it, I saw that he was here for 10 years with a green card. And then once that 10 years stops, it expires and you have to kind of see what you're going to do next. And he basically transitioned into a student visa and started going to Columbia University to study philosophy. So
interesting. So it kind of makes you wonder, what was he doing for those 10 years prior? And I guess the Trump administration requested that the judge who essentially, gave him the pass to be freed from ICE detention, Judge Jeffrey Crawford, turned down the Trump administration's plea essentially to hold him for an additional 7 days. Because in the written ruling, the federal judge wrote that Madawi's continued detention would have a chilling effect on free speech. Now, this judge, again, is, from the Reagan administration. So Judge Crawford expressed in the ruling, it is if he had been detained in retaliation for exercising those First Amendment rights, which, it kind of seems like he was, release is essential to make, not only for him, but others who wish to speak freely without fear of government retaliation, true. And he also referenced the ongoing Trump administration policies against the free speech on college campuses throughout the country.
Right.
So, they are comparing, it looks like Judge Crawford is comparing what's going on to the Red Scare and Palmer raids of 1919 to 1920 that led to the deportation of hundreds of people suspected of anarchist or communist views. What's interesting is that communist views and anarchist views are actually very different.
Right.
Anarchy is just wanting to cut the government from
total void of
right, and rule on your own, and decentralize everything, while communism is essentially the opposite. And
even though a lot of people don't understand the definition of it that protest for it,
and having communist views is essentially living underneath a dictatorship. So there's a lot of irony here. It says Trump officials have also revoked the visas of 1,800 international students. I just found this on a peopledispatch.org, which tends to be an activism site. But it is interesting because I know you and I talked about, mainstream media articles versus, activism blogs and
independent journalism.
Independent journalism. So I am, as we're both finding more information about this, looking into more independent sources. Now, again, Rubio is essentially saying, whenever I find anyone who makes these blanket statements like this out in public, he calls them lunatics. I take away their visa. He said, if you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us the reason you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like brutalizing and vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you that. So it was exactly like what you were saying, is that these protests became increasingly violent. And because you said that once his green card expired after the 10 years, that is when he went in for the student visa and studied philosophy. So if you go by that timeline,
and he's 34 years old. It's not like he was way young when he came over here. He wasn't college age, so he was here for that whole time, and kind of he could have been milking the system. We don't know what was happening behind the scenes. Aaron did say something in the chat, and it's basically what we're saying.
You just have to it.
Yeah. I clicked. You don't have a right to be here under a student visa. You are allowed to be here at the discretion of the State Department. The permission can be revoked at any time. And that's exactly right. That's another thing that we're hearing with a lot of this immigration talk, and a lot of the flack that we're getting from, different areas is people are like, oh, you have rights. As soon as you step over in the soil, you have rights, this, rights, that. And it's okay, but it's not like being a full-fledged United States citizen where if you have any kind of allegations towards you, you wouldn't be subject to deportation. That is on the table until you're a fully naturalized U.S. citizen. So you have to be on your best behavior. You are applying to be a United States citizen, and you're trying to show that you're worthy of being taken on as a citizen in this country, that you're going to, make it better than when, when you found it, kind of thing. So
Right. I was just going to ask if you wanted to pull up the Rumble comments. So here's
Brian's
a
reading
funny
our
little
mind.
question.
Yeah.
Should a person on a student visa be allowed to protest? It's not even a gotcha or anything. I'm curious what y'all think. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you are here, you should be allowed to protest. But again, back to Aaron's point, you should be here at the discretion of the State Department. So the minute that does become, violent or unruly, especially, when you are dealing with a conflict like this, I do see that point of view. Although I do also see this for a win for a lot of constitutionalists, right? Both liberals and some people on the right that are saying, this is going against the First Amendment, and especially with a very sensitive topic that is going into geopolitics at the moment. Like, he should be able to participate in this movement, and he should be able to say what he wants to say and not be silenced, because once you're being silenced, what other rights can be taken away? So I see both parts of it. I think it would be a lot more black and white if he was a U.S. citizen, obviously. But I think that this is a win for proponents of that.
Yeah.
Right. And not only
I believe it too. Like, I believe anybody should have the right to protest and say what they want, within reason. Of course, you can't call for violence. That's one of like the main components. But when you start, like I was saying earlier, when you start barricading doors, breaking windows, calling for things like infantada, and like putting up flyers that are pro Hamas or Hezbollah, and you have people from Israel that are there studying and are terrified to go to school. We see it with the climate activists too. They block streets and they refuse to move. Like, all of this stuff is getting to like a breaking point, to where it's like, at what point do you say, okay, this is no longer a right that you have? This is going into impeding on others' rights now. Now it's...
Yeah, you do have a very good point there. I mean, it is getting to the point where more and more Jewish people are seeing a rise in anti-Semitism and are feeling unsafe on college campuses. And, this is just something that we need to figure out. Now, DG, there is a comment that is saying he's out on bail, telling the president he's not scared of him. That seems rather mean. Yeah, I mean, he's basically, this is what he is. He's an activist, right? So activists are gonna say what activists say.
Activate emotions.
I was going to say activists are going to activate.
No, I get you. Like, that's exactly the whole point of it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's essentially saying, this judge ruled in my favor. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of, these policies. I'm going to stand for what I believe in. There's many people that have often said that they're not scared of the government. Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't want you to be scared of the government either, but at the same time, you should have some kind of like moral compass, and you should also be aware of the laws, and don't think that you can just skate around them and then say that and then attach it to one of our laws as something, this is what we always talk about, like judges and all of that, like how many judges were appointed. Obama appointed like 283 judges in his terms, which is 100 more than Biden and Trump. But yeah. All right. So we do have another story kind of around the same same conversation. This is coming to you from the Washington Examiner. Judge rules anti-Israel Columbia graduate Mahmoud Khalil can challenge unlawful detention, unlawful in quotes.
And really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick. I just wanted to say, you and I talked about media slants earlier. Now, if you look at the title of this article, that says, he is essentially an anti-Israel Columbia graduate versus, something from Politico, right? That says Columbia student activists freed from these, horrible conditions at the ICE detention center. So, it is quite interesting because you will hear about how this is essentially two activists that are part of the same movement. And depending on the source, you can tell how they lean by the title. But again, we did vet this article, and it is true. Essentially, it doesn't mean that they are anti-Semitic or anti-Judaism, but if you are representing what the Palestinians are going through, then I would say that is anti-Israel.
Yeah, like if you, I mean, you can say like, you want the dying to stop, you want the conflicts to stop.
Right.
But when you start saying like, we have to take out, when you start following people that say that they want to take out all the Israeli people, and you put up flyers for those people, then it's like, is that ignorance on your part and just following, their movement? Or is it like, what they're saying and you're trying to push that on American soil? So it's really crazy. But yeah, so a federal judge ruled Tuesday that Mahmoud Khalil, a former green card holder who led pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University, where pamphlets written by Hamas state media were distributed, could challenge the Trump administration's right to detain him for deportation. District Judge Michael Biartz ruled that Khalil's lawsuit against the government must be heard. Khalil's lawsuit against the Trump administration is focused on a habeas corpus petition challenging the legality of his detention. Quote, "Today we move one step closer to vindicating Mr. Khalil's rights by challenging his unlawful detention and the administration's unconstitutional and retaliatory actions against him," Amy Greer, one of Khalil's attorneys, said in a statement, according to ABC News. The New Jersey lawsuit differs from a separate Louisiana case involving the Columbia University graduate whose green card the government revoked this year. Earlier this month, a Louisiana judge ruled that the government holds the right to deport Khalil, whom the Trump administration is attempting to deport due in part to concerns about his involvement in protests it said promoted Hamas, a U.S. designated terrorist group. So let's just stop there. If that's true, and he was promoting Hamas, and we as a country have deemed them a terrorist group, then you're kind of, you should be deported. You shouldn't be allowed to stay here if you're promoting something like that, because these terrorist groups are promoting death to Israel. That's their main mission statement, So
right. I am behind the paywall again, guys.
Oh, well, yeah. Pay it. No.
Donate to Valley today so I can get behind.
So we can
I'm not behind paywalls. Yeah, but no, I mean, like I said, it's all about phrasing, right?
Yeah.
Because if it was just speaking out against Netanyahu and just speaking out against all of the bombing that has incurred due to the attack on October 7th, then I think that's one thing. But if what the Washington Examiner is saying is true, and that they are openly promoting, a terrorist organization with specific talking points, specific rhetoric, specific encouragement, specific violence, then it does change things a bit, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was looking up a couple of things, and I didn't dig like a ton because I didn't have a lot of time to, but I was looking at something that I thought was really interesting. There was a couple of people that advocated for Khalil, and so there was a Columbia graduate in a letter to the immigration court. He said ICE may attempt to use his participation in the encampment protest against him, but that would be a complete distortion of reality. Mahmoud has actively included Jewish voices in conversations about Israel and Palestine. a lecturer at Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs, in a letter to the Immigration Court, said, "I can state with full confidence that Mahmoud has never expressed support for Hamas, nor has he ever endorsed any form of extremism. Over the course of our extensive interactions, I have had numerous conversations with him about human rights, justice, and the student protests, and I can personally attest to his commitment to nonviolence." So that's what some of, from the faculty are saying, some of the students are saying. I don't know, I don't know if because these two individuals were the loudest voices, the ones with the megaphones, if they weren't actively the ones who were saying certain things and the people around them were, and they were kind of, choosing them as the people because they were the loudest voices in the crowd. I don't know. And they seem to be like the leaders, and everything that was being passed out was kind of like, okay, this is part of them too. I don't know. It could just be these people, saying these things are, maybe he was a certain way when he was talking to individuals, and maybe he did other things that were contradictory to that. We don't know that either. But I just thought that was really interesting, that people were claiming that he was allowing all voices to be heard. He was kind of like, having Jewish people in the conversation. So, but yeah. So,
yeah, I mean, you even have opinion articles. It was rubber banding a bit. I don't know if it was rubber banding on my end or your end, as far as I was hearing it. But can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, there was a little bit of a lag there, but I'm even finding articles from the New York Times saying that there are young Jewish people that hold critical views about Israel. Now, this is a article that was released about 2 days ago, but it says a 2021 poll by the centrist Jewish Electoral Institute, which monitors Jewish voting engagement, found that 38% of American Jewish adults under the age of 40 considered Israel an apartheid state, compared with 47% that did not. When presented with the accusation that Israel was committing genocide in Gaza in a survey last year, 38% of American Jewish adults under the age of 44 agree. So, like you said, if he really was speaking with, which it sounds like he was engaging in conversation with young Jewish people on campus, we are seeing a shift, and, it is a little bit of a negative shift, I'm not going to lie, of youngish Jewish people like Gen Z that have critical views on Israel. And the reason why I say that is a bad thing is because you are also having a large generation of Gen Z people that are starting to, not have family members alive to talk about the Holocaust. There's a lot of people that are fabricating the numbers that were originally released when it comes to a lot of
conspiracy theories floating around.
A lot of conspiracy theories, especially, on both the left and the right, that have become really concerning, to be honest. And so
it's no different than the anti-American students. They're living in this country.
And I fear that this division is only going to increase the longer this conflict between Gaza and Israel go on, because a lot of people who already, have specific anti-Semitic views are jumping on the bandwagon and just calling themselves pro-Palestinian. When, I don't think that the majority of pro-Palestinians feel that way, but I do think that it is a growing concern.
Right. And, and again, it's hairy because, we're a melting pot, we have people from all over the world, and we do have free speech and all of that. But at what point does it become how can we cohabitate with each other?
Right.
If our views in these critical areas are so far apart, where it's the end game is violence, how do we contend with that?
Yeah, and I can't even see the Rumble comments from my end. So it sounds like Mulgara 85 agrees. There's also a sad amount of Gen Z that deny the Holocaust. It's bullshit. They're morons. It absolutely happened. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying about the growing anti-Semitism. It kind of seems to, whatever is going on with Israel and Gaza, they are conflating that with what happened during the Holocaust. And look, I think that it is entirely possible to agree with Netanyahu and agree with the leadership in Israel and to not want anyone to die. And that what's going on in Gaza is extremely heartbreaking to see and extremely painful to see. And
I don't know, when you were in school, when you were younger, did you have Holocaust survivors come to your school and show the numbers on their arm? Because
we did not
remember.
I did go
to that in our school.
Yeah, and that could be largely because like you're on the East Coast too.
Maybe.
And I think a lot of Holocaust survivors, like there's like a large Jewish population in New York and in Eastern, on the East Coast. And then you also have the Holocaust Museum in Philadelphia as well. But I think, you can be anti-war, you can be anti-foreign aid like I am and still understand that there is a difference between Zionism and practicing the Jewish faith, right? And so this is again where everything gets a little murky. But with these two situations, you have one person who's been released by ICE after being held for 2 weeks, and then in the second situation, you have Khalil, who I believe is still being detained.
Right, and the first gentleman, the Mahsin Madawi, he's released, so he's not like being detained, but he still has to go through his process. So it's very possible that he could still be deported at the end of all of this. He's just not being held until the next step comes.
Right. And both of these are trending on social media. But it says, Khalil's team is agreeing with what has been going on with Madawi in regards to, the constitutional rights and oversight of the executive branch. And that, again, this case fuels broader debate on immigration law used to suppress political speech when it comes to specifically student activism, right? So, let's kind of change gears here because this is going to be an ongoing like deportation debate and justice debate I see in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And so we have an international news segment in regards to Ukraine. Ukraine says it's ready to sign a key rare minerals deal sought by the U.S. Let's fucking go. This is from the AP News. In Kyiv, Ukraine is ready to sign an agreement that would give the U.S. access to its valuable rare minerals in the hopes of ensuring continued American support for Kyiv in its grinding war with Russia, senior Ukrainian officials said Wednesday. Ukraine's economy minister and deputy prime minister Yulia, oh my god, I cannot say this. Yulia
Sverdenko?
Silverydenko?
Silverydenko. I'm so bad at those names. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know what accent that was.
It came out to say.
Flew to Washington on Wednesday to help finalize the deal. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said during an appearance on Ukrainian television, state TV. Both Ukraine and Russia have state television. Both are involved in human trafficking. It's just wild to me that Americans are oh my gosh, Ukraine is so much better than Russia, because it's they're both prior USSR territories. They both are very strict.
There's a lot of shady stuff going on. Yeah.
Very strict when it comes to human rights.
Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of people being dragged out of their homes to fight in this war.
Yeah. Yeah, being automatically drafted, draining the US. I mean, look. Let's see. For Ukraine, it says the agreement is seen to be a key in ensuring its access to future U.S. military aid. You have a very iconic photo with Trump and Zelensky. I think this photo is like amazing because you see like Trump kind of like dominating power in that pose.
Mm-hmm.
Valley Girl right there. What part? I'm always Valley Girl. But yeah, it's like a very like dominating like photo, you know what I mean? And this deal is linked to securing support, but it's like a 10-year partnership when it comes to the minerals. And the partnership proposals include the shared funding and defined military support thresholds. And it still requires ratification by Ukraine's parliament and cabinet. So yeah, I mean, like, what are we thinking here?
Yeah, well, we actually got an answer just a little while ago. It was posted by the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's account on X. I know we do have that video, but we do have a signing of that deal.
To secure a lasting peace, I am glad to announce the signing of today's historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine, establishing the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. This partnership allows the United States to invest alongside Ukraine to unlock Ukraine's growth assets, mobilize American talent, capital, and governance standards that will improve Ukraine's investment climate and accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. The Development Finance Corporation will participate and help to establish the fund in collaboration with the government of Ukraine. Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing
Thank you.
And both the United States and the government of Ukraine look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both the Ukrainian and American people.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. It's like a win-win because Ukraine and its leader Zelensky constantly says how they don't have money for this, they don't have this for that. So it's like, all right, so now we're going to help you, get on your feet, and in return, we're going to have access to some of those rare earth minerals. Some things that we were actually taking issue with Canada on when all the tariff war with them was going on, like aluminum. So that's if we have this kind of a deal with this other country, and we can tie it to a ceasefire and total end to the war, that's a pretty amazing win. That sounds like a good deal to me. And it was a part of the 7 points of Trump's plan that was offered to Putin and Zelensky to end the war. This was one of the points there to the mineral.
Yeah. And it looks like they revised the draft. There was an earlier draft. So now it looks like the deal would not conflict with Ukraine's path towards the EU membership, a key provision for Kyiv. What I'm wondering, okay, I need to read the article more. Because I was thinking, well, what about Putin wanting Crimea? And so, further down the article, it says Putin wants answers before committing to a ceasefire. The negotiations come amid rocky progress and Washington's push to stop the war. Russian President Vladimir Putin calls for a ceasefire. So this becomes a lot more interesting, right? Because Putin wanted the ceasefire, but he's saying before peace negotiations, it's necessary to answer a few questions and sort out a few nuances. Dmitry Peskov, who's part of the Kremlin, said Putin is also ready for direct talks with Ukraine without preconditions. So basically, the Kremlin are saying, we realize Washington wants to achieve quick progress, but we want to make sure this benefits both sides. Yeah. And Trump is over here extremely frustrated with the slow pace of progress in negotiations because he said, and I've said this like many times before, that he just wants people to stop dying. Like,
Right.
He's very anti-war. A large reason why people voted for him was because of his more anti-imperialist views, right?
Mhm.
So,
if Ukraine does anything with the EU, though, that would because this was part of the plan that I was reading here. So we're still blocking in this negotiation offer any Ukraine ties initiation into NATO. However, if they do the EU membership, it would suggest that the EU would be left to shoulder the enormous cost of Ukraine rebuilding it and integration and cohesive process. So that's also something that I'm sure they're discussing, because if we're going to have this kind of deal with the United States where we help rebuild, I don't know, and the EU gets involved, then they're going to have to shoulder the brunt of the cost. So I don't know how that's going to work out, if it's going to be like an even give and take between Ukraine and the United States.
Well, it looks like, it looks like Trump, he has said for a while that he wants the war to end. Like he basically said he's been wanting the war to end since day one, and he's wanted to put together an agreement since day one, right? Mm-hmm. And he's saying that it's a waste of lives, true, and a waste of American taxpayer money, also true, and that this could spell an end to crucial end to military help for Ukraine, which again, we have already given them like over $380 billion. Mm-hmm. And I believe, I might have to fact check that number, but it's like somewhere around there. And then heavier economic sanctions on Russia, which Russia doesn't care about the sanctions. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what's going on. The UN is stepping in, saying the Ukrainian civilian casualties are on the rise, while the UN Human Rights Office said that it has verified 2,641 civilian casualties in Ukraine.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy, but it says that was almost 900 more than during the same period last year. So it's like,
there's a lot of talk that
really
numbers,
aren't adding up.
Yeah, that the numbers are not very factual, that they're probably a lot higher than is being reported. But it doesn't matter. It's like every day, another life, another building, another, people's homes, and just like the overall, even the people that are surviving, just the overall trauma that you think that like the young kids and that are around these areas that are going to grow up, with the PTSD of having all of this terror going on around them. It's just even the lives that haven't been lost, it's still destroying lives for decades to come. The more that this continues, people need to stop and try to, rehabilitate themselves to go on like in a normal life. Just to answer to you before, it's 182.8 billion. Apparently that's what's being reported.
Okay. Maybe I saw like a particular CR or something that talked about
it's probably
380 million. Mm-hmm. And then that's where I got the 380, but thank you for fact checking that. So yeah, it looks like it is trending on X and social media under Ukraine, US deal, critical minerals, geopolitics. It looks like more is like going on in the geopolitical sphere than our own country sometimes, I swear. But we do have a segment talking about robots, which scare me.
I know. Yeah, let's just talk about that real quick. It's weird. But okay, so Tiancong Ultra took home the gold medal on April 19th in the humanoid robot half marathon in Beijing, CNN reported. Ultra and more than 20 other robots ran alongside, but in a separate lane from their 12,000 human competitors. Supported by navigators, operators, and engineers, It crossed the finish line in 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 42 seconds after 3 battery changes and 1 fail. The winner of the men's race finished in 1 hour and 2 minutes. Almost every robot in the race suffered falls or overheating issues, and one spun in 2 circles after leaving the starting line. I don't know why this is so funny, because I could just like picture it. Hit a wall and dragged its human operators down with it. Another's head repeatedly fell off. Oh my gosh, that must have been a sight. So I know we do have some videos from X to kind of give you like a little show of what it looked like. I don't know if I'd call these like human. Well, some of them look pretty impressive, but yeah, let's see.
The world's first humanoid half marathon took place in Beijing last week, where 21 humanoid robots ran a half marathon alongside humans, and only 6 out of the 21 humanoids completed the course. The one that won actually was developed using it's a Chinese government affiliated research firm that built this. Finished the half marathon in 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is very slow. It's like kind of like a
twice the speed, twice the speed of the human. I think the human won in like an hour, 4 minutes.
He looks like he's running to the bathroom.
There was some hilarious videos that came out of this as well. But the point is, we probably didn't have a humanoid that could complete such a feat, 5 years ago. I don't know if there were any. And then I'm looking forward to Ben. The robot Olympics, right? Like the humanoid Olympics or whatever.
Oh gosh.
That
would actually be cool as kind of like a science symposium kind of thing.
I don't know.
I mean, as like not against humans though.
Yeah,
not against humans, but just kind of like one of those symposiums where you have to work on your project and then show it off, and kind of make it like
the science fair.
Like the science fair, but like an Olympic thing. I think people would go like bonkers for that, especially like, those that are really into AI. But it's so funny. Yeah.
It's just interesting, right? It reminds me of the movie that I saw a couple weeks ago called Companion. I don't know if you...
No, I haven't seen it, but I remember you telling me about it.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's the overview of the movie is essentially... Okay, I don't want the definition of companion, guys. It's a 2025 American science...
What is a companion?
Is like cracking up right now. It's a 2025 American science fiction thriller film starring Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid as a couple on a weekend getaway with friends as a remote cabin. It unravels into chaos after it's revealed that the girlfriend is actually a robot, and he took out her safe settings and used the remote to... I'm just gonna spoil this for you guys. I don't care. I'm sorry.
And for me. And
wait,
I can't get my. Oh, anyway.
Okay. Turned up the volume or not the volume, but turned up the settings to 100% on the aggression scale, and then basically asked the robot. Gave her
PMS,
and set the scene, I should say, for the robot to kill one of the people who were at the vacation home, and she doesn't know that she did it, and she's like, I remember memories, I have memories, I have emotions, I shower, I'm a human. And he's like, no, these are all implanted memories. He's like, there's a drop down button where I can implant every single thing that you remember, and every single thing that you do is because of me. And it's I feel like it's scary how even in the future, robots might not even be self-aware that they are robots and can easily replace jobs. And we've talked about AI, and I know before Andrew Yang dropped out in 2020, that was actually a large thing that was a part of his platform, that AI was going to start replacing humans, and now we have all these technocrats that are part of the government. So anyways,
yeah, this is interesting. We should actually dive into this more one day. And
I know this should be one of our deep dives.
I think so too.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's something we could talk about for hours.
I mean, soon there's gonna be robot Olympics and like are robots like allowed in female sports or something?
Oh gosh, don't even give anybody the idea. No. 6 months down the line, we're gonna be talking about how there's activists out there dressed as robots. Oh gosh.
Soon we're gonna be called like we're gonna be called like TERFs in like 5 years because we don't want female robots in like the locker rooms or something.
I can't. No, I mean, like, listen, when I was younger and I grew up, like, I watched all these movies and I feel like they were setting us up, getting ready for like integration with robots, right? So it's like,
yeah,
part of me has always been kind of waiting for it to happen. It's like, okay, where is it? Just like the flying cars and all this other stuff. It's like, when is it going to happen? But now that it is happening, and then they're making all of these scary movies with the robots, I'm like, bro,
I know. Like, I feel like they like, know something we don't. Like, you know how The Simpsons, like, you know how The Simpsons like often predict something before it's going to happen. Like, I feel like there's a whole group of socialites like that are part of like the Hollywood elite that just like know when shit's gonna happen, and they're like, we're just gonna tease you and like see if you believe it or not, and then 10 years down the line it's like, oh, we told you.
Yep. Or like see, like almost like a test to see the reception of the public.
Yeah, exactly.
There's kind of like a fantasy around it, even though it's like scary also. All
right, we
should
not fantasize about robots.
So okay, the last story before we get into Caption This, it's a pretty quick one, but it's hysterical. It's actually pretty cool. Coming to you from the UPI, a British Seagull boy wins second consecutive gull screeching championship. And if you guys are wearing headphones, I would just let you know at this time you might want to lower them just a smidge because it gets kind of screechy. But yeah, we do have a video to kind of show you just like what they're doing and this competition here. A British boy who's Seagull. Yeah, go ahead.
Championship. Now it is really grown to a European championship with 14 countries. It's amazing. I'm surprised. And also about the quality. Performance worked great this time.
This one's good. This girl right here. That actually does sound like a seagull.
Oh my god. Thanks, I hate it.
Oh my gosh. If we would have put that as our cold open, we might have like lost a few people. But, yeah, I mean, like, listen, they're out there having a good time. I just hope that this isn't like the people are walking around like this normally. Oh, the dogs didn't like that. Oh no, Aaron, sorry. I did warn you. But yeah, the Seagull boy has won his second consecutive title. Wait, so that last person is a boy? I don't know. All right,
I know.
Anyway.
I guess you can't tell, but I don't know. It sounded like a pretty feminine, like, what do you call them? Like squawks? Like,
is that what you call them?
I don't know.
Why do we always end up talking about weird birds? Cooper Wallace Ted dressed in a seagull has to perform his bird imitation of the Sunday competition and scored his second consecutive one in the junior category. He said, I was very, very nervous, but happy. I like being on the stage. I was kind of annoyed that I didn't get a medal, but very happy for Cooper, Shelby Wallace said. Oh, okay. So they gave it to this young kid. And I guess the last one, I thought the last one was really good. You know, if that's what they're doing, she sounded just like a seagull. I thought she did really good. The other ones,
and people say weird. Americans are weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, the Dutch are over there just having a grand old time. Yeah, we're over here like Europeans. yeah, doing their thing. All right, seagulls. So I guess that's gonna kick us off into summer. So I guess that's what that's about. Are you ready to get into Caption This?
Yeah, apparently we don't know what it is.
No, we don't know what it is. So get your funny bones out, you guys.
Oh my gosh, your producer is like laughing evilly.
Yeah. But if you guys don't know the Caption This, we show you an AI generated image and you guys give us your best captions, the funniest ones you can, and then Valley and I will vote on it on the end at the end and see who wins for the day. So all right, reveal. I want to see. I want to see what this looks like now. Oh my gosh, how cute! What is that? A platypus? Is that a platypus?
We don't know.
All right, so he's a platypus and he's green but the tail, is that a normal platypus tail? Is that a beaver tail? And then he's got like a little fedora. It does look like a waffle.
Looks like a waffle.
Aw, he's so cute. Oh, we love him.
I don't think he's cute.
You don't think he's cute? How can you not think he's cute? Wait,
you think birds with like the weirdest beaks are cute, and you think like squawking children are cute.
Wait, okay. The other day you said that emus were cute, and they are freaking terrifying.
Emus
and then
are cute.
And then you're gonna say this little adorable little over here is not cute. Perry the platypus. Wait, I don't literally Perry the. Oh, like Perry Mason. Is that what that is? No. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know.
Dude,
I get references. Wait, what is it? Wait, Perry Mason did have a fedora, by the way.
That reminds me of. Have you ever seen Monk?
No, I haven't, but I heard that was a good show. I never watched
or Perot. Perot was like on like BBC. He was like a detective.
Oh no. Why Perry? Why? Oh my god.
Why Perry? Why Perry the Platypus live action?
So what is the Perry reference that everybody's talking about? Somebody help me here so I can.
I don't know. We're just girls.
I'm just a girl in the world. Why would she just let me be?
I'm just a girl.
Perry the detective. I'm gonna look it up myself since Brian is not telling me. Oh, I see it. Perry the platypus. I see the picture now.
Let me see.
All right, so hold on. I'm gonna put it in the private chat so you can see it. Hold on. Brian is just hanging us out to dry.
Ow!
All right. From the American animated series Phineas and Ferb. I never watched those.
Yeah, I never did either.
Well. That's so cute.
The secret agent pet.
Secret agent. Harry is the docile pet platypus of a blended Flynn Fisher family. I'm gonna see if he was looking at both Phineas and Ferb at the same time. Aww.
Only.
All right.
Okay.
I got nothing else. Sorry, guys.
I tried one.
I don't know. Let's see. DG said I'm having flashbacks, so he knows the show. Non-binary robots. Ooh la la, I just saw that. I can't get any more than Perry the platypus. Only Perry can prevent forest fires. Me 5 seconds after I find a platypus. You would dress him up. I'm gonna try one. I don't. I never watched the show.
I think that was like. Was that like did that come out when we were millennials, or was I just not interested?
Probably. I was. When did this come out? 2007. Oh, I was out and about. Oh, hey, Brian. It's okay. No, go ahead.
Wait, I think he's muted on StreamYard.
I can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear him because of the other software we're on.
Why? Somebody's saying they can't hear him?
No, I can't. He's not coming through my speakers. He's just coming through my headset.
Oh.
He needs to switch him.
I can't hear him. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, that's why, because we were hearing him in the background, the Discord.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this came out in 2007. That was when I was out and about.
Yeah, I'm not watching cartoons when cartoons like that when I'm in high school.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was graduated, but that was like, my mid-20s. Like I was.
The girl was just living her best life at the clubs.
I'm so
glad
like,
wearing like all
my good skin.
She was like wearing all the like Snooki tight dresses and like the giant poof and stuff.
I did have a poof. Why, Perry? Why? Let me see.
This is a good one from you.
Let's see. I see. The thing is I don't get the reference, but just because I'm green doesn't mean I envy Perry Mason.
Yeah.
I liked Lethal's "Me 5 Seconds After I Find a Platypus." I thought that was adorable. Kind of like having your own chihuahua or something where you dress it up. I'm gonna choose that one.
I'm going to vote for yours because I thought it was a clever play on words.
Oh, thank you. It's not easy being green. That's cute. All right, so let's do a quick vote for vote 1 for Me 5 Seconds After I Find a Platypus, and vote 2 if it's just because I'm green doesn't mean I envy Perry Mason.
Okay, 2.
So we got 1 for 2. We got 2 for 1, mine and Brian's. We got another 1 for 2. Okay. Oh my god, let me just... Oh, I don't even have my wallet. I love how I'm always prepared. I was going to say, let me get a coin ready. I abstain. All right. Damn, we need a tiebreaker. Yeah. I'm sorry, Erin. I don't get, I don't know the show, so I don't get the reference. So I was just like going with stuff that I just laughed with from the image itself. We might need to flip a coin.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Brian, you have a coin? I'm always throwing it out. I usually have my wallet here. I can flip an earring, but that doesn't really do anything.
What?
It does have 2 sides.
Oh my god.
I don't have a coin. Oh, you know what I never did? Because remember you mentioned it last time, like if they have a digital coin?
Yeah, there's probably an app for it. I'm sure there is.
Digital coin flip. Oh, cool. Wait, I found something. Hold on.
I think. Brian, did you get one?
All right, here, wait. Coin flip simulator.
Oh, okay.
All right, so heads is 1 for me 5 seconds after I find a platypus, and tails is 2. Just because I'm green doesn't mean I envy Perry Mason. Oh, it has like a little noise. Hey, lethal! All right, looks like lethal won.
Nice.
Good job, good job. All right, so I'm going to save this thing so we have it. All right, you guys, great job. Thank you so much for participating. And just a reminder that if you guys, everybody that wins gets entered into the championship round that we're going to be doing in the near future. And whoever wins the championship, the best out of every caption one, they get a little merch package. They get their shirt with their caption on it. With the image, and also a Roman Nation hat signed by Phil Labonte, and some little goodies. So definitely it's good to play. And don't forget, we do have a website, riseofmiddleamerica.com, if you want to go there and you could see all of our content. You can join the Discord from there. You can do X. You can go right up here to this Q&R code, use your phone, take a snapshot, do the thing, and it'll bring you right to the website, which is great. So yeah, any final thoughts, Valley? I think we covered pretty much everything we had to say, but
yeah, I think we covered everything. This is it for us for the week.
Yeah.
So again, I'm that Valley girl, your common sense advocate. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, and I'm Biddy, your fast-talking New Yorker, and thank you guys for always hanging out with us, always joining, always engaging with us in the chat, and I hope you have a happy Wednesday. Don't forget, tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, that's Tay and D on Sunset Rants right here on Rumble. We really want to support Rumble in their efforts and everything that they do for free speech and to allow people to show their content the way they want to. So definitely support Rumble more. Subscribe, like, share with your friends, and hope you have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.